everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. You know, in the land of Dawn, we see a whole lot of heroes who rise up because they're chasing immense power, or maybe they're driven by a thirst for revenge. But today we're looking at someone who's completely different. We are unpacking the lore of literally one of the most tragic, unyielding, and fiercely loyal warriors in all of Mobile Legends Bang Bang. We're talking about Leomord. He's known as the Sworn Sword. He's a fallen knight carrying the incredibly heavy burden of an oath that has, quite frankly, long outlasted his own beating heart. Now, this explainer draws directly from the brilliant lore deep dives put together by the Lazy Gamers. They're this rising MLBB community over in Nepal, and they're building a phenomenal space for players who just love digging into these hero stories, uncovering the massive world behind the land of Dawn, and really bringing that rich narrative energy straight into their gameplay. We've looked at heroes like Lila, Nolan, and Fanny with them in the past, but the journey we're taking today is going to be incredibly cinematic and, honestly, deeply emotional. All right, let's just dive right into it. Some knights die when their kingdom falls, but Leomord kept guarding his land even after death. I mean, wow. This is the absolute core identity of our subject today. Leomord's story isn't the tale of some villain who craved darkness, not at all. It is the heartbreaking reality of a loyal knight who tried so desperately to protect his home, his best friend, his oath, and innocent people, even as the entire world around him literally collapsed into a nightmare. So to truly grasp how Leomord became the undead guardian of Necrokeep, we kind of have to understand where he started. His birthplace was Ridgeburg, and this wasn't just your run-of-the-mill city. It was a hardcore border fortress of the Monian Empire, situated right near the Lantis Mountains. Ridgeburg stood as a literal shield between the Empire and the blackened, corrupted lands of the Abyss. For thousands of years, the people here didn't live normal, peaceful lives. They lived right on the edge of destruction. And Leomord? He was born into a long line of royal guards. From his very first breath, duty, service, and protection were literally running in his blood. So, born into the royal guards, he quickly becomes the personal squire to Atticus, the son of the Duke of Ridgeburg. Now, Atticus wasn't just a future lord to Leomord, he became an older brother and, honestly, his absolute best friend. They trained together under the finest champions, studying swordsmanship and intense discipline. And while Atticus was this naturally gifted talent, Leomord was the quiet, determined grinder, training in secret, day and night, just so he wouldn't be left behind. Oh, and here's a detail I love. At age 7, during a local tradition, Leomord bonded with a newborn pony he named Barbiel. Yeah, the terrifying, demonic warhorse you see in the game today totally started out as a tiny, cute pony. Barbiel became this silent friend who understood Leomord when words just failed him, offering comfort whenever the young squire felt weak, and that steadfast bond is going to be absolutely crucial later on. Part 1. The Golden Period, fighting side by side. As the two boys grew up, Atticus ended up inheriting his father's massive responsibilities after the old duke passed away, and Leomord stood right there beside him as the captain of the royal guard. During this sort of golden period, they were thrown into the fires of border skirmishes, fighting off demonic intruders, and actively pushing back the abyssal threat. And guess what? It works. They actually managed to secure a temporary peace for Ridgeburg. With stability seemingly achieved, Atticus makes this massive political move. He proposes a marriage alliance with Princess Vexana of the Royal House of Gaius. At this exact moment in the lore, this is a huge beacon of hope. It's a powerful alliance, it means political strength for Atticus, and Leomord is proudly protecting his city. Everything just seems perfect. But here's the turning point. Right before Vexana actually arrives, Atticus gets some really troubling news. A vicious new breed of demons has popped up at the border, and they're connected to the exact same dark magic that affected his late father. Atticus knows he has to leave to investigate, but before he rides out, he formally declares Leomord a sworn knight of Ridgeburg and hands him the Sword of Oath. Leomord swears to give his life for Atticus if needed, but here is the massive twist. Atticus orders Leomord to stay behind. His strict, totally unbending task is to remain in Ridgeburg and protect Princess Vexana when she arrives. Leomord desperately wants to go fight alongside his brother in arms, but, well, an oath is an oath. 2. For 2 whole, agonizing years, Leomord and Vexana just wait in Ridgeburg. The border mission drags on, and eventually, the letters from Atticus just completely stop. You can only imagine the kind of tension and fear building up in Leomord's mind during this time. Finally, a messenger arrives. The Duke is returning. The relief Leomord feels must have been immense, right? Up until he actually sees him. Atticus comes back, but there is absolutely no joy in his face. His eyes are just completely empty. Leomord, being so bound by discipline and respect, chooses not to question this horrifying change in his friend, instead just focuses on preparing for the long-delayed wedding. Part 2. The Wedding in the Mist. A Kingdom Falls. So, the people of Ridgeburg are celebrating, right? They think the years of war and waiting are finally over. But during this joyous ceremony, everything shatters. Atticus steps forward, opens the box to present the wedding ring to Vexana, but there's no ring. Instead, this overwhelming wave of dark magic just erupts directly from the box. Instantly, the abyssal corruption explodes outward. A horrifying, suffocating mist literally swallows the entire fortress of Ridgeburg. The proud city that acted as a shield for the Empire is dragged straight into darkness, transforming in seconds into the cursed, dead land we now know as Necrocape. Just like that, Leomord's oath is shattered. He swore to protect Atticus, Vexana, and the city, and he's forced to just watch helplessly as everything he loves is consumed by the abyss. And that horrific moment brings us to the very soul of his character. The light faded, but his watch had only begun. You see, Leomord didn't somehow embrace the darkness. He became tied to the curse of the mist. He's undead, yes, but he is not empty inside. He's cursed, but he is certainly not without purpose. His tragedy hits so hard because he is trapped by his own memory and his unbreakable sense of duty. He stands guard over this dead, abandoned land because his heart, even if it literally no longer beats, is still entirely controlled by that oath he made to his best friend. Actually, quick side note, it's really fascinating how the story has evolved over time. In the older, archived lore, Vexana was framed as actively corrupting a kingdom, and Leomord, unable to raise his sword against his queen, fell into despair, took his own life, and was later tricked into defending the undead. But if we look at the current canon, the story is vastly more detailed and, frankly, way more emotionally devastating. It's no longer just a cheap trick, it's a profound tragedy of the Mist Curse, where his unyielding loyalty is the very thing that survives death itself. It just gives so much more weight to his origins in Ridgeburg. Part 3. Lore meets gameplay. The Sworn Sword in action. Now, what's super cool is how this translates into the game. When you press his ultimate and he shifts into his mounted form, you aren't just getting some random combat buff. You are summoning Barbiel. Remember that silent little pony from when he was 7 years old? Barbiel is his lifelong, surviving companion, literally riding with him through death itself. His dark visual styling isn't just there to look intimidating either. It represents the literal, heavy burden of the Mist Curse of Necrokeep dragging him down. And his weapon, the Sword of Oath, that is the exact same blade Atticus handed him all those years ago. Every single time you swing that sword in a match, you are carrying out an oath that Leomord simply refuses to let break. You are controlling a cursed knight riding forward with his oldest friend. How awesome is that? And speaking of visuals, we've got a fantastic breakdown here of Leomord's skins and how they match his identity. If you're a purist and want true lore accuracy, the Lazy Gamers highly recommend the Shadow Knight skin. It just perfectly captures that trapped, undead Necrokeep atmosphere. If you're out there making content or shorts, the Diavol V4 Rider Ducati collab is absolutely incredible for viral clips. For a super aggressive, powerful-looking game, Inferno Soul brings that intense Darkfire style. And hey, if you're looking for great value on a budget, Hell Knight is a classic that still totally respects his dark origins. As we wrap up this lore breakdown, I just want to reiterate how fantastic these resources from the Lazy Gamers really are. If you enjoyed taking this deep dive into Leomord's tragic backstory with us, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to support their rising MLB community over in Nepal. They are doing some seriously incredible work bringing these hero stories, lore explainers, and gameplay discussions to life. Play lazy, play smart, be legendary. Ultimately, Leomord teaches us a pretty profound lesson. Loyalty can be an incredible blessing, giving a person totally clear purpose, but it can also become a horrifying curse that chains them to endless pain. He remains faithful, even when faithfulness hurts the absolute most. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Which hero's tragic past should we uncover next? Will it be Alucard, Argus, or perhaps someone else wandering the land of Dawn? Let us know, and we will see you in the next explainer.